I have two. Hey guys, how's it going today? How is everyone? Oh, it's the first time I've been here early in ages. Oh, well, that's good. Hi, Swag Money. The Outback. No, not Outback. It's Australian. The Kiwi acrobatics. The Kiwi parkour king, if I remember correctly. Our resident Kiwi. How are you? So, welcome everyone. Hopefully the audio's okay. Move my fan a little. It's always warm in this corner of the house. Once the weather gets nice and cold, it'll be good. That'll be good for a change. Um, so anybody want to say anything? How's everyone doing? I actually give a fuck, oddly. So I like to hear how people listening are doing. There's like 10 of you, so um, even if you won't believe I give a fuck, I kind of do. Especially since the people listening are usually people that are going through similarly tough times in some regard or another. So, gotcha, Mathlum. Hope that improves a bit for you. I know many of us probably deal with something like a consistent level of depression pretty often. Not everyone has the whole dysthymia action like this guy, but I know you guys that listen probably deal with some of that stuff a little bit. But we're gonna do fun stuff today. Well, I don't know about fun. We're gonna talk about fun things. We're gonna do fun stuff. We're gonna talk about nice things today. Today's gonna be a nice, chill, cozy stream. And if it gets a little uncozy, well, it tends to be that way sometimes. Dealing with tough feelings, Sammy, and wanting to be known by someone, but knowing the way I love is weird or wrong, and that I will be forced to wear a mask for others' enjoyment of my personhood. Totally understandable, Sammy. That is a tough road. Why? I don't know what to do with life. Yes, relatable. I'm trying to see if I can create new roads for some of us that are dealing with that. But other than that, I went back to Nanze and it's helped my depression, so that's good. Hi, Livy. Hello, hello, Livy. So the reason I wanted to do kind of more chill and a cozy stream is because I'm just in a chill mood. Chill, like as in like I'm always kind of low grade depressed, but like I don't feel super horrible as of right now. I could always change. That's why you tune in, right? They're like waiting in the rafters. It's like any moment now. Angst is gonna lose it again. I just start like playing music and going crazy, drinking. No. So, um, no. I'm kind of in a really sort of chill mood. I want to hear some nice things. I'm in the mood to hear nice things, and they don't have to be nice things, or I don't want to hear nice things about me or whatever. Ugh, gross. I mean, like I want to hear what other people's nice things are. That's what I'm kind of in the mood for. I want to hear other people's nice things. What is nice? Even if your life can be a little tough, if you're cluster A or schizo spectrum or whatever, you're more than likely have a pretty tough life in many regards. Schizoid, schizotypal, or schizophrenic, or otherwise. You're probably having your life's probably pretty tough, and life's probably pretty isolated in many regards. Okay. Some of you maybe less so than others, but internally, it feels you can feel pretty isolated and pretty alone at times. But there are times when something about the world or something you encounter makes you feel wholesome, makes you feel nice. It doesn't necessarily redact or retract all your, perhaps, I mean, in my case, pessimistic observations or beliefs about a ton of stuff, but it definitely gives you a moment of respite to just, it's like a Dark Souls bonfire, right? Because you know you're going to have to get back up and keep keep grinding, fighting those fucking bosses that just shit down your throat. But occasionally you get some cool tunes and a nice bonfire, and then like you know, there's like a couple cool characters that are chill at each, at some of those bonfires, and you maybe got the maiden tell you some chill stuff about, hey, you're doing an okay job. If you ever played Dark Souls games or Demon Souls as well. Um, Livy, I often feel trapped in other people's dreams, goals, life plans, desires, feeling like I'm not in control of the direction of my life. Oh, that's Magenta. Hi, Magenta. Cool. I've never seen you under that name, so I was like, huh? No, that's like an engulfment shit. Uh, Magenta, like, well, I'll just say Livy because it says it there. That's that. That's that engulfment shit. Like when you don't know what it is you want to do with your life, and you don't know where to go, and so much of what's in front of you are just not choices you want or make sense to you because of the way you are and the way you experience stuff very differently than most people. Yeah, oftentimes it feels like a person's just living for other people's intentions or motivations. Yeah, so that is a totally relatable thing, living. Sammy, my nice thing is that my partner is going to have top surgery next week. We saved 10K to pay for it. Oh wow, Sammy, that's fucking cool. That's good. If you save 10K to pay for it, that means you've probably been waiting for a while. So that's good. I mean, more power. As long as everyone involved and all parties are happy about it and all that shit, then that's what matters. But Libby being felt like we are controlled by others sucks so much. Yeah, I know. I deal with that all the time. Before we get cozy, sorry, since we're talking a little bit downer, but I'll try to stay away from it after. Yeah, I know what you guys are talking about. Like, it's just that feeling of like, even if it's for people you care about, of course, right? If you have those people, it still feels oftentimes like I live in a world that's kind of designed for other people, and so thus I'm kind of living oftentimes for that world instead of for myself in any major capacity. So yeah, that's a very relatable feeling. Both Sammy, Libby, and otherwise, I'm sure many of you probably relate to that feeling as if you live for the world around you, and you'd like to live for yourself in some way, but it doesn't seem very easy or possible in the environments in which we have it. It feels as if everything tries to get in the way of any of that and become a tool for the world to use at times. So yeah, that is a relatable thing. Right? That is a relatable thing. That's why. Well, I mean, that's why I care so much about this project and everything I work on, and trying to advance all this and help more peeps, because that's something that I'm not, even though ironically it's something that I'm doing to help other people in whatever capacity that I can, even if that's what's happening where I'm just delusional. um I'm still doing it for me, right? It's what I care about. It's what matters to me for a variety of reasons. And so it's something I'm doing for myself. It matters to me exclusively, and of course it matters to other people that, again, yeah, but I'm doing it for me too. You know what I mean? It's a choice I'm making about my own life that matters to me in a way that's for me, which is not something I've done very much um, in any major way, where it's like an exclusively a thing that I want to complete for myself, and not because of my care or empathy, cognitive or otherwise, for a different human being. It's a tough thing. Yeah, wow, that's shit. That's a shit position to be in. Wow. Luckily for me, I'm probably my family's disappointment. So I guess I got lucky in that sense. I don't even know. I don't even know if I quantify as that. I don't know what I'd be. But whatever. Anyway, cozy. Let's get back to some cozies. So today, I'd like anybody that's interested in the show or is in the chat to join me on Discord because um, Sammy, I want to go to the group again, but because of surgery, I don't have the spare cat. No, it's okay, Sammy. I get it. I get it. I know that's a sucky part about because me and Joanna from Mind Mastery, it's a different YouTube channel, a great fucking YouTube channel. Check it out, Mind Mastery, with Joanna. Um, we created a group to help Zoids to kind of like interact with each other and have like communication and to help kind of connect about some of the difficulties and problems and see where stuff overlaps and have some kind of communication, open, like expressive communication between Zoids, which is like a difficult thing, obviously, right? It sounds like antithetical, but we've managed in some of the sessions and they've been pretty awesome. And it's a safe, location for those types of conversations. And it's very kind of loosey goosey as far as like where it needs to go, what direction it needs to go. It's kind of up to the people in the session. Um, and Joanna, being a psychological coach, uh, having studied some of this stuff, some of this therapy type shit, they're really good at kind of managing some of the directions of the group and stuff. But in any case, yeah, I'm sorry, Sammy. I wish that kind of shit was free, but nobody subsidizes any of that shit. So it is what it is. But one of the difficulties is, yeah, like um, a lot of people out there that are schizoid or otherwise, but schizoid specifically for this group. Um, yeah, man, they don't have a lot of cash. They're not exactly loaded, right? Um, there's a reason why they quantify us as, you know, what is it? Low quality of life or low whatever it is. Like they don't expect much out of us. Um, I don't know. Sometimes we don't expect much out of ourselves. So that's probably why. Or we don't expect much out of the world we inhabit on top of that. So it's a nice combination. Oh, I'm glad you're happy about it, Sammy. I get it. People have. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's just so much shit, right? Like, there's no. I like the demographic I'm pointing all this toward is one that doesn't necessarily have a lot of spare cash. I understand that plight because I've never really been in much of a position most of my life in which I had spare cash. Right? No, it's always been a 9 to 5 or night jobs and shit like that for years. Trying to pay the bills, raise the kids, that kind of stuff. It's not always an easy thing. So for those out there that are like, oh, I wish I had money to support this and I don't, or go to the group or whatever. Thanks, guys. It's fine. Just hearing that's nice. That's cozy. Hearing that's cozy. So, Sammy, that was a cozy thing. Uh, is this the Congolesian Tippy designing stream? Um, no, that's next week, BB. Whatever that is, it's next week. Anytime you ask me what kind of stream, if it's that kind of stream, it's next week. It'll always be next week. Okay, fucking BB. Um, so anyway, today I kind of want to just have you guys jump on. If you want to join the server and talk with me or whatever, or you want to just talk, it doesn't have to be with me specifically. You could jump on the Zoid Void. It's a Discord server for well, anybody can technically join, but the schizoid portions, we have like an application process. But the section in which you can jump on the channel where you can jump on and talk during my live stream with me, that's open to anybody that just joins as a non-schizoid or schizoid or otherwise. So you could just join as a non if you really want to talk and you don't have an account on, or you don't have interest, like you haven't done an application for the schizoid portion or whatever. And even if you're not schizoid and you like the channel, you want to talk, you want to express some shit, you can jump on. I'm willing to listen. If you're boring and lame, I'll just tell you. I'll be like, this is boring and lame. Please leave. I'm not gonna feel too bad. Don't worry. Um, I'm kidding. I'm not going to be telling people that they're boring and lame. Just, I mean, unless you really want me to, then maybe I will. I don't know. It's up to you guys. In any case, I want to have you guys jump on and chat. I mean, because chat's cool because you can put stuff in chat. So like, I want to hear about what kind of stuff makes you feel cozy, even when like the times are dark and shit's rough. Like, what kind of things, whatever they may be, I don't care what manifestation of it looks like. It could be concept you daydream about. It could be music you listen to. It could be art you look at. It could be stuff you write. It could be stuff you create, stuff other people create, certain types of games or whatever, like thoughts and it could be fucking anything from STEM subjects to fucking the most liberal arts interests possible, right? Like I don't I don't care what it is. I want to know where your occasional cozy spot is, right? Like even if it's a physical thing, whether it's like just rolling up inside a fucking mattress, not mattress, a fucking what do you call it, a comforter, and then just like as tight as possible, and just listening to something you like with headphones on, whatever, dude. Like I just want to hear what is what helps the cozy when just God everything becomes so fucking painful some days, and you just need a moment of peace, right? And it could be stuff that makes you feel cozy that's like random, right? Like so stuff you don't plan for, like seeing a certain animal, or seeing squirrels, or your dog or cats, or a certain thing they do, or uh, a certain family member does something. Like in my case, like I would say one of my cozy places would be seeing my like kids be happy, right? My older one and then my little 2 year old, like seeing her be just a happy child, no carefree, enjoying existence, in the existence in front of them, and seeing them enjoy what it is like to have these kind of nurturing. Well, that's tooting my own horn, but attempting to nurture sort of parents and shit, like seeing them happy and crazy and act weird and spin and do whatever the fuck it is the kids do, like that shit makes me feel cozy and that shit's wholesome. That's kind of what I'm talking about. And so for other people, it may be other types of shit, right? It can be anything, man. Because I used to have cozy even before like I did the whole parent thing, right? Like when I was younger, my cozy stuff would probably be, I can think of Rain and Thunder. That's a good one, BB. I'll tell you some of my pre-fam cozy, and I still use this shit, right? When I used to go to bed, I used to have a lot of anxiety, right? In my 20s, it was just like panic attacks, and all kinds of shit, like nonstop. And I'm talking about all the time. And one of those cozy things that I would do is I would play certain album for a while. I did this one for like at least 2 years, man. This one was a real go-to. It was a Nobu Oematsu album, which is the guy who does like the Final Fantasy music and shit. But he did this album called Beginnings, um, which was like some kind of like independent project or something. And it had like this kind of just chill, kind of naturey, fantasy sounding music. Um, and I would listen to it at night when I would try to go to sleep, or an hour before bed. I listened to this album. I played out loud in my room, and I would hear it, and then I would always have the same cozy spot inside my mind, which was, I know this is going to sound silly or whatever, um, but I liked imagining myself in like a big. Okay, do you guys know? This is so cringe. Um, okay, to anybody out there that's familiar with stuff like Final Fantasy 9 or just any of the Final Fantasy games, there's the Black Mages, right? The Black Mages, or even the MMO, they wear these like, um, well, more specifically, Nine, they have the cool Black Mages, but they wear these big old blue sort of or black coats that covers their face up to like here, and all you could see was their yellow eyes, and then they'd have these big old brimmed hats, and you couldn't see their actual faces, right? They were in this outfit, and I would imagine myself laying under a tree in something like that. And just reading books and listening to the wind and just under a giant tree just covered the sky. And I just think about laying under the woods and just being cozy and snuggled in there and just reading poetry or whatever the fuck it is I want to read. That's the kind of shit I would like envision in my stupid head, and it would help me calm down and kind of calm the anxiety and depression and other shit down a little bit for a moment, so that I could just drift off to sleep on occasion. That was kind of what I did. That was like one of those cozy thoughts, whatever cringes in me or whatever. I don't care. That's where I went. That's what I did. Sammy, I feel cozy when I'm allowed to get away and have the expectations fall away. No feelings, pressure to put on an emotion performance. I can just exist. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. That's kind of what I mean, Sammy. Right? That's kind of what I mean. Vibing with that. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna open it up to whoever wants to talk to me. I don't give a shit who it is. And cool. If you stick around and you want to listen, neat. If you only stuck around for a little bit and left, that's fine. Whatever works. It's all good. This is the neighborhood. Whatever that means. Okay. So let me open it up. See who's on here right now. Hey guys, who's on here today? Who's on here with me?
Oosh.
Hey, what's up, Kiwi? How you doing?
A bit sore, but we're right.
What happened?
And just a bit sore.
Sore?
Yeah, but it's safe as.
Why are you sore? Too much parkour again?
Yes. Yeah, too much random, like, yeah, exercise.
And falling down and hurting yourself and shit? Or you don't fall down, you're just that good. You never fall down. Sorry for insulting you. You don't mind me calling
every parkour athlete falls down.
You don't mind me calling you the stream's local Kiwi, do you?
I don't mind that at all, because
Cool.
they're all New Zealanders.
Yeah, our acrobatic Kiwi. So what's up, man? Tell me about what makes Emoji Man over here cozy. What makes you cozy?
What makes me cozy?
Yeah, what makes you feel cozy?
I feel like it's just pretty generic things, like...
Yeah, I don't care if they're generic things. They don't have to be fucking special, man. I'm not saying you gotta give me a fucking thesis paper here. Like, I mean, if it is that, like, if somebody comes on here and starts fucking giving me, like, a complicated ass thing, like, that's fine. I'm down for that. But whatever works for you, right? That's all I want to hear. I want to hear what even when shit's rough and shit sucks, like, what's at least a go-to?
Go-to usually is just sit in my room and listen to music. I also generally like to try and just keep myself stimulated with different activities. I find that
Just careful, I'm trying to keep this stream
bored.
PG. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I try to not keep myself bored, just trying to switch up the things I do.
What happens when you get bored? Is that when
stuck in one thing?
Is that when things get bad upstairs in the head? When you get bored?
Yeah, well, that's how I feel. I feel like it's just like if I get like bored of like something,
yeah,
it's just like
you gotta move on. Gotta
not
switch
even
up.
bored of it, but like yeah, I can't. I've got to like not be too stuck in one thing, because if I'm too invested into like one thing and start hanging myself up on like how like I perform in it, and then I feel like, oh shit,
No, I'm good.
simply.
So music, lean back, and then just kind of floating away with it. That works for you.
Yeah, for a while, it works a bit. It's just that I find especially like that is something I don't like doing. Very much like just trying to switch up activities, try and switch up what type of things I
Yeah,
like.
but those things are cozy too, right? Doing that kind of shit's
Yeah, they
cozy
are.
too,
They are.
right? Like that's what I mean. It doesn't have to be like if somebody thinks playing fucking
I
chess or
just
doing like like complicated fucking forms of mathematics is cozy. That's fine too. Whatever's
and I
cozy.
used why also some other people you should unmute if you want to. That would be fun. So I'm not like sitting here like
Oh no, they
feeling
have the
like
power to unmute themselves.
yes.
I
They
don't
just
have them
might not.
muted.
They
They're
might
just
feel as though they would be intruding, but
no.
I feel
Everyone can
open
interrupt
around
anyone on
hearing.
here. I don't give a shit. And if I feel like you're being rude, I'll tell you to shut the fuck up and wait your turn. And that's it. Okay. So, but if anybody jumps
Yo,
on here, I'm going to ask them. I mean, I already know one person on here. You're going to see shit. They just jump on my streams because they think it sounds better or whatever. Fucking Milo. You will always be Milo. I don't care. I don't care what you fucking change your name into. You'll always be Milo in my book. Okay. So, I see Karyotype. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Karyotype. So, what makes you feel cozy in this oftentimes difficult world?
So like Emoji Man here, music helps.
Hmm.
Listening to some tracks and laying back,
Hmm.
just feeling it.
Yeah, what kind of stuff do you think about when you lay back? What kind of tracks do you listen to? If you don't mind sharing to some whatever capacity you're comfortable with. What puts you in that place, right? What do you fill your head with?
Um, well, some shoegaze is nice.
Hmm.
Um, Also a band that I really like called House. That
Okay.
has some albums that I enjoy. That sort of help me relax. Or
Yeah, but what goes on in the mind of karyotype when they hear these relaxing things? Like where does it go that it feels cozy? You just blank out and hear the music, or do you try to go somewhere that makes you feel calm and chill?
most of the time, I just blank out. Sometimes uh, I just basically just fantasize about being in a like living a pastoral life.
Yeah, you're like harvest mooning it.
Yeah.
Why a pastoral life? What's so cozy about that for you?
Well, I don't have to be around people
Well, there's
most of the
that.
time. Um,
There's plenty of things you can imagine though, where you're not around people. So I'm wondering,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, what about it
Also,
is cool?
well, nature is alluring to me. Um, Also, just having that routine of you gotta you know take care of the plants, take care of the animals, just like just having that set stuff, and then just being able to sustain yourself and do whatever you want. Take a walk through the forest if you want, or just I
So,
don't know,
like,
relax.
you don't in your fantasy, like, you don't mind the hard work, obviously, that comes with such a life, like the physical labor, any of that stuff, the sweat on your brow, that kind of shit, not a problem. Or is that something actually like kind of part of it that makes it cool?
It's part of it that makes it cool. I mean, also any negatives from it are vastly outweighed by not having to interact with.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you're producing things that are, you know, to sustain your isolated existence, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, is there ever any other people at all in this? Are there like are there people that like imaginary people that are okay to interact with in these kind of fantasies? Is there like a, I don't know, a imaginary partner or imaginary neighbor or any of that?
Uh,
If there's not, that's cool. I'm just
sometimes,
curious. That's all. You don't have to share
some
everything I ask. You know.
sometimes there's an imaginary partner, but it's very abstract. It's not anything concrete. Just somebody that I can talk to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Doesn't have a specific phase or a specific uh, look. It's just kind of like an individual that possesses maybe certain traits that are nice to be around. Yeah, no, I got you. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Um, Hold on. Let me see chat a little bit. I got some stuff in here. Uh, see here. It's just an apple. Listening to podcasts, YouTube videos about topics I'm interested in while playing strategy games like Civ 5. This makes me feel very cozy. More interesting the topic is, the more cozy I feel. Yeah, I actually I get that one, Apple, for sure. But I quit video games to try to find cozy feeling from other sources, which benefit me more in the long run. Oh, okay, like building up certain skills and such. Okay, I'm guessing like certain hobbies that are more like skill based oriented. I mean, video games are too, but you know what I'm saying. Like you're producing, maybe you're, I don't know what those things would be. Like I'm anything from cross stitching to fucking, you know, exercising would obviously be somewhat more productive than playing video games. But there's an argument to be made there. Because I love video games too. Solar Scribe. I built a blanket tent around my bed, and I find it very cozy. That does sound cozy. Blanket tent around my bed. That sounds pretty chill. I get that one, Solar, because like I like the idea of being kind of like in a comfy small space. Like I like. I remember even as a kid growing up, I like putting like cardboard boxes on my head, and I liked putting blankets over my head while like I did stuff. I felt cozy under blankets and in cardboard boxes, all kinds of
Do you
stuff.
like
So,
going into cupboards?
um, I I generally couldn't fit in cupboards because I was like not a small child.
Yeah.
so I maybe I did that when I was smaller, but I don't have any memories of it. But were I to be able to fit in cupboards, I probably most definitely would be going in them. Um, but I've always been kind of a tall, chubby kid, like so. It's never been too much of an easy option for me. But definitely blankets. Like the bigger the blanket, and I would just go under the blanket, and then I remember some of my coziest memories was just being under a big blanket. And I had I think like a Game Boy with that light like attachment to it, and I was just playing Game Boy games under a blanket. Or I would have like a flashlight and reading a book in the dark. It would be the middle of the day, and I'd have like a big blanket over me, so it'd be like it's night. I'd be sitting there with a little flashlight reading books. Um, I remember finding a lot of comfort in that when I felt afraid as a child. Um, but now, yeah, yeah, I would say I definitely do some of that stuff to some degree. Probably less like a blanket, more like just being in dark places. That's why even when I do my streams, like I like being in the dark and talking and with the screen just on. I wear these because they're blue light, so they don't fuck with my eyes too much. But yeah, I feel cozy like this. That's why I do it. See here. Yeah, Sammy. I like to dream, and retreat into fantasy inner world when I listen to music. I feel like it can sometimes be hard for Zoids to talk about their daydreams. Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine that. It's a little vulnerable to share. Yeah, for sure. I'm just, I've kind of come to the conclusion that I share everything practically with you guys because fuck it. I have like bigger goals in mind than whatever discomfort it causes me to share shit or weirdness. I'm kind of over that part. I don't think I could share my personal fantasies. I'd feel misunderstood. Not for sure, Sammy, but like, that's part of the issue, right? A lot of schizoids feel misunderstood all the time. Not just schizoids, just like people on the same spectrum that deal with a lot of internal fantasy and things like that, or just thought processes. Like, yeah, we don't like to express a lot of that stuff outwardly because there's often it's not even so much of a social judgment. Often people describe that they're worried about. It's more of a misunderstanding and misattribution that they're always stressed about. Like somebody's not going to actually make the attempt to understand where I'm coming from. They're just going to make assumptions about me and my behavior, and then assign bullshit to my thoughts that isn't the case. Let's see here. Matham, same Sammy. Oh yeah, you screen. Livy loves lava lamps too, also with music. Yeah, cool, cool, cool. That's good. This is what I'm talking about. Like I want to hear some of this shit, right? I know what works for me, but I'm tired of talking about me. I want to talk. I want to hear some of this shit. Like even the stuff. I want to hear the stuff that I don't get. Like I want to hear the stuff that makes me go like, oh, I don't really get it, but I mean, I get the idea conceptually, but like maybe that's not cozy for me. But who cares? Like the whole point is I want to kind of expand my knowledge of what some of those experiences are. That's what I'm kind of interested in right now. So, so if anybody wants to hop in, Livy, you're more than welcome to, because I'd love to hear some of this shit. I'm curious about it. Um, hey, Milo, get your text to speech going, because I would want to hear what the cozy things for you are. Get something going. I want to hear some of that shit. Is there any other types of things you'd like to share, stereotype, that like maybe make you feel that way, or either one of you two? They would feel
Uh,
comfortable
when
talking about.
when you were talking about like as a kid that you liked to you know, like put boxes on your head or
Mm-hmm.
under a blanket, stuff like that. Sort of remind me
Laundry
when I was a
baskets
kid.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When I was a kid, I definitely liked putting stuff that occluded my vision,
Mm-hmm.
that was sort of large on my head. And I also just liked small dark spaces in general.
Yeah, yeah. And
I
you
was
cover them
I
with
wa- yeah
like a light or something.
I was like I was a fairly wiry child, so I was able to fit in cupboards stuff. So I would climb into those.
So lucky.
At one point, I tore open my box frame for my bed, which angered my parents, and I climbed into that. Shouldn't have done that. There were nails in there, but like that.
Let's hope they were more angry because you get to hurt yourself, and not more angry because you damaged it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
But
I
like,
would be pretty upset too because I don't want my kid to get possibly rusty nails and tetanus and bullshit.
yeah.
But yeah.
But small dark spaces do still sort of appeal to me. Sometimes if I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, I will just sit in my closet.
That's something that I find interesting too, because I've heard that not just from myself, from other Zoids and stuff. Other people on this kind of schizo spectrum, like, have described actually enjoying to some degree, right? Not to the same degree, but oftentimes describe enjoying like environments that would be conducive to, say, somebody that was like autistic as well. Like they like the idea oftentimes of like listening to something that specifically calms them, and being in dimly lit areas, and having more control over the sensory stimulation that is being like provided to them, right? They might not have the same sensitivities in certain in the same ways, but I've heard this oftentimes, right? When like stress is too high, when things are like just the less sensory information, in many cases the better. It just depends on the individual, I think. For me, it's just selective sensory stuff, right? Like, so if it's even if it's music, if it's something I like to listen to, even if it's loud or like whatever, it's fine. I don't mind loud as long as it's something loud and appealing. Same thing with loud and just comforting in some degree, right?
Yeah.
So I understand. I understand sort of where when I hear people, like autistic people talking about like, oh, the environments that make them feel cozy or uncomfortable. Like I'm like, that doesn't sound fucking half bad to me at all either. That sounds pretty chill in most regards. Um, but I don't know if what the overlap is realistically there, but I just find it interesting. Um, I like small math and like small spaces too. Yeah, that's why I have my agoraphobia that I do because I don't like big open spaces. They make me very uncomfortable, and that's an understatement. Um, does anybody else would anybody else like to join the stream? I know I got a few people on here watching. So if you're on the server, I mean, look, I know it could be hard or difficult or weird because you have to jump on and talk, and other people can hear you, and then it's recorded, blah 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 blah. Like, I get it, I get it. But if you talk to me, you're talking to a person that doesn't give a fuck and just wants to hear it, and you're gonna probably use a username. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you live. I don't know what's going on. I don't know any of that shit. Um, so just remember, it's fairly anonymous. I know in this day and age, you can fucking IP address anybody, but to some degree, unless you're using right, this would have been a time for a VPN, like a VPN ad. Fucking, I wish. Right, fucking anyone sponsor this bullshit. Use NordVPN. I'm gonna start doing like fake ads, like I'm gonna start doing ads for shit that no one's actually giving me money for, just so I can get comments that I'm shilling, even though I'm not, because I don't. No one's paying me. That would be pretty funny. I'll be like, next time, go to McDonald's and get start doing like ads for McDonald's or Burger King, like whatever I see at the local Burger King that they're like promoting, I'll start promoting that for no reason at all, other than to see people comment that I'm like a corporate shill for promoting Burger King. That alone would make it worth it. It's not about others noticing it, rather me being self-conscious about it. I just hate my voice. Oh no, that's I get that. Buys BB's honey. Nobody wants your honey, BB. It's mean spirited, dirty honey. Actually, some people might like that. Never mind. I would hop on, but I'm shy as fuck, Ryan's logic says. Yeah, I know, guys. Like, I mean, you're not that shy, Ryan. Ryan, you do have a channel with YouTube videos. You're not as shy as everyone else, maybe, on here. I'm kidding. Maybe you are.
Whopper is pretty good.
What happened?
Matthew's Whopper.
Oh yeah, Whopper. Whoppers are good. Yes, Whoppers are a tasty treat. There's Big Mac people and there's Whopper people, and well, I can't say much for the Big Mac people. Sorry. Yeah, but it was funny the other, like, this is stupid, but the other day I wish they would get the order right though. Yeah, I know. Some places suck at orders, but the other day I went with fam to McDonald's, and I do the whole keto thing, right? Because it's the only thing keeping me from getting as big as I used to be. Like, I'm still a fat dude, but I'm not like as crazy fat as I used to be. So, um, I we went to I do the keto, so I got some keto buns that I bought at Aldi's because they have like the best. I'm gonna do a fucking commercial right here. This is cozy for me, I guess. Aldi's has the best motherfucking keto bread on the planet. That's all I gotta say. Their loaves, their for sandwiches, their hamburger buns, their hot dog bun, all that shit's so fucking good. And less expensive than everywhere else. Aldi, go to Aldi. Where's Aldi from? Like, I know it's like, is it Canadian or something? I don't know.
It's somewhere in Europe.
Yeah. Aldi's god tier in so many ways. And German, it's German. There you go. But yeah, anyway, they have this bread there, and so like I bought a pack of the bread there because we had stopped by Aldi, and I got a pack of the bread there, the hamburger bread, and then we went to McDonald's, and I ordered three. No, I ordered no two. Two I think no, it was two. I don't think it was three because I only had two. Yeah. Okay, so I ordered some McDoubles, and I was like, yes. And the cool thing about the Aldi bread, it tastes kind of like a McDonald's bun, which I don't know why I like that. And so then, like, I had some McDoubles at McDonald's with my keto bread, and that made me feel cozy because I wanted so badly just a McDouble. Just give me a stupid McDouble, as bad it is for me. And I was able to have it without wrecking my dietary fashion. So that was nice. That was a nice feeling of being able to have it with the bun. I don't know why I found that enjoyable.
You
Huh?
do you know what the bread was made out of? Did you look at the ingredients? Do you know what?
The Aldi bread, the Aldi keto bread. It's just
Yes.
it's because with if you've been doing keto, especially for a while, you can start going like the dirty. It's called dirty keto, which is like you kind of go the net carbs route instead of like just flat carbs, um, because your body can just regulate all that pretty well at this point. And so yeah, it has a ton. What's crazy is that a lot of keto bread. This is so stupid. What a stupid topic. A lot of keto bread has a lot of fiber, right, to counteract the carbs, the dietary fiber. So technically, when we do net carbs, it's like, oh, if there's 5 grams of dietary fiber in that piece of bread, and there's like 7 carbs, it's 2 net carbs, right? That's how it works. And I need to keep my carb intake to at least 20 or less net carbs a day. And even then, I can't fuck with it too much because then I'll just fucking get gassy from all the fucking fiber. And so so yeah. I know they use like I think they use like almond flour probably or coconut flour and like other shit to and then like other fiber based shit to kind of counteract it. But the thing is a lot of this bread tastes like shit, right? I mean,
Yeah, this
yeah,
sounds romantic.
yeah. A lot of this bread is really sandy and shitty and weedy and like not good. Like there's a few, and it's getting more popular to do this shit. I've been doing this shit for a few years, but it's getting more popular to do this shit. So there's like more options now. But man, some of that fucking bread out there tastes like shit. Like it's just like gross and sandy or too soft and too mushy. Like it's just not good. But Aldi, goddamn, they have a very good bread and very good tortillas. Keto bread, good, top tier shit, man. And it's cheaper than the shit you even find at Walmart. They're overcharging for. Anyway, yeah, that's enough bread talk. Jesus Christ, I didn't call this the what is it truly to be bread and at what cost? It's kind of a clickbait title because I don't think there's like a major cost for being cozy. I just wanted to say something. I just wanted to put something in there that sounded like like trying to make cozy sound exciting. Um, let's see here. McDonald's only has good complimentary food items like nuggets or fries. Burger sucks. Disagree, Matthew. Disagree. It's not amazing. I'm not saying it's like a fucking best burger ever. I'm just.
Oh,
It's
what's
just
that echo?
oh, hey, we got somebody. We got. Hold on. What's that? This? Oh, hey,
Hey, it's
what's
just
up?
me.
Oh, it's just you.
Yeah.
It's just you.
I was just gonna reply to Matthew said about the McDonald's.
Yeah.
I don't think I think this really like is missing the point. I think and the theme that I see
Mm-hmm.
regarding things that are cozy or like things that remind us of like childhood,
Yeah. Like the few good things
yeah,
you can remind yourself.
Legos, like McDonald's, cozy spaces. Like it doesn't matter if it's good.
No, it
Just be
doesn't.
like it doesn't matter if it's like objectively good. It's just
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're eating the nostalgia, and you're eating
yeah,
these like really kind of buried memories of moments of peace and comfort. Yeah, that's what you're fucking eating. Like when I have a McDonald's burger, like I know it's shit. I know the meat quality's not good. I know that the fries or whatever, like it just doesn't even matter, right? Um, it's the same thing for like I would say I would compare food wise. I would compare that to like let me think of a different place. Shit. No, I don't like. I would say I don't know. A Chuck E. Cheese pizza. That shit sucks. Like objective, it's like some awful pizza. It's fucking awful fucking pizza. Chuck E. Cheese. It's like the original fucking Five Nights at Freddy's. Like it's just worst fucking pizza. If I even just eating it. But because I have all these, yeah, you're eating nostalgia. Exactly. I have nice memories about being at Chuck E. Cheese because of the arcades. Right, they used to have good arcades and good games. They don't have so much of that anymore. And even before that, probably as a child, I enjoyed sitting in the ball pit and just like it was probably unsanitary, I'm sure, but as a child, didn't give a shit about that. I remember having memories of going at the Chuck E. Cheese ball pit as maybe like a 5-year old or something, and then just like laying in it and just being under all the balls, and then just like being buried in them, and then just laying down there, and it was just really cozy. Um, so like, and then I remember playing video games that I liked at Chuck E. Cheese that made me forget about the birthday party I was attending or any of that stuff because I didn't care about that stuff. I was like, I just wanted to eat my pizza and have the cake and then go play the video games or go lay in the ball pit. And so, yeah, so I associate that pizza, which when you're a kid, you don't fucking have good. your, your taste in food is pretty shit, right? So you're just like pizza and fucking ball pit and arcades, playing House of the Dead, playing House of the Dead.
mm,
Hell yeah. Um. Anyway, oh sorry, but yeah, you get what I'm saying there, Magenta. You know what's up.
yeah. Like, I mean, I think what's really interesting. I mean, if you think about like say Japan in the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
uh, like a lot of the I guess the whole like anime and manga phenomenon
Mm-hmm.
and like the whole like fashion crazes and even video games and whatnot. Like I think this all emerged after the financial issues in Japan, like the
Mm.
like I think people becoming kind of like disillusioned with the economy. You had like the
Yeah.
like, the whole salaryman thing, and then people feeling like they can't become this, and I think it's kind of like an escapism
Yeah.
almost,
Yeah.
like trying to
Absolutely.
cope with the stress of life. And I
Yeah.
think this is sort of like it spread like it's I don't know,
No.
whole kidult,
Yeah.
you know.
No. Yeah. It's basically it's another. It's just another form of escapism. Only you're escaping to places that are nostalgic or places that are simpler and make more sense within the context of only that thing. And then it allows you to kind of melt away some of the complexities of life that you have very little control over, and the pain and suffering that is often there. And I would say beyond that, personally, this is my thought, because of my thoughts pertaining to a lot of this kind of schizo spectrum shit. I feel like that's why that's why there's a lot of people out there, right? Like, there's a lot of people out there, like a lot of like neurotypical people out there that probably like have a lot of cozy memories, right? that they go back to and think about. Maybe they go through a photo album. Maybe they think about that first kiss or whatever, or they think about this, or they think about that, or times with their parents or whatever. Like if in fact that's where they go, or a friend that they had, and these social interactions that they might have encountered, right? So they'll have these memories of that stuff, right? And they'll go to these kind of cozy places, and it's the same thing. Only like most of the time, a lot of people I talk to are going to cozy places associated to either concepts or objects associated to concepts they find cozy, or ideas and feelings they find cozy. Feelings, not particular, not even necessarily specific events, right? It's like a feeling, right? Like like when I think about the comfort I found in going to the Chuck E. Cheese ball pit as a kid, I have zero recollection of any particular times or any particular party or any of that stuff. Like I have zero memories of that. That's fucking gone. All of it's gone. But the feeling, just the feeling of going in the ball pit and laying under all the balls, and it's dark in there, and everything outside is just louder, and there's so much, and you can just go in the ball pit. And nobody's wondering where you are. Nobody's asking you to do anything because you're in the ball pit.
Yeah, I think that's the power of like memories and nostalgia. I think it's important. Like I don't think it's like I don't think there's anything wrong with it. MJ, like I don't think it's like a bad. I don't think escapism is always bad. Like it can be good and it can be bad. Depends on the context, and I don't know whether it's like causing harm or not. Like
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah,
I mean, smoking crack or something like this
yeah,
is, that's
yeah.
escapism. But
I think what they're referring to though, Genta, is like when escapism takes up like 80% plus of your life, right? I think that's when things can get a little dicey, especially if like your actual like your life itself is becoming less functional and falling apart around you. Like you're not paying bills, you're not eating, you're not doing a bunch of things, and everything's just kind of collapsing in on you, and you're just like pushing it all back until you can just continue with the escapism, until eventually it catches up to you and everything goes to shit. Um, I think that's usually what people refer to when they say like escapism isn't good. Um, but I think it's all about moderation for sure. Like it's just a matter of uh, like even if somebody wants to work and keep their life functional in order to um, pay for or sustain a lot of their escapist stuff, I think that's a more reasonable route than say just being completely consumed by it and then letting everything go to shit. Um, I mean, and that's the thing. That's another that I question like escapism as a word, only because I think okay. So this is my thought. All right, I would like your guys' opinion on this. The way I like to think about something like a word like escapism, it usually refers to like, oh, there are these things in life that you have to do that are more important, that take priority, that actually matter, and escapism is a manner in which to avoid those things because they're too stressful and too difficult and require you to actually, grind and work hard and blah blah blah, and you're just some lazy fuck that essentially just wants to make things easy, and so you just escape from it all. Right? Okay.
yeah,
Um,
totally.
yeah, that's usually what people hear, right, or refer to it. Okay, so this is kind of my opinion on that. My opinion is this, right? There are people doing that, absolutely, 100%. I'm not going to deny that. It's stupid. But um, this is one a very important component that I think is being disregarded. If and I know I often turn, because it's just the only reason I turn to examples of, say, like autism is because like it's what makes sense to society right now. If you refer to that, it makes sense. If I say schizo shit, like somebody that doesn't live through it won't understand it as easily, or their brain will automatically like tune into a whole cognitive difference. Um, so if for some reason you have an autistic person that spends a good portion of their time just in a specific set of interests, not a specific special interest, because that's kind of a myth. They could have a multitude of them or many facets. You know, autistic people aren't as simple as like a single special interest, unless there's a certain issue, but it varies. And so they like if they spend 80% of their time in those interests, chasing them, studying them, perfecting them, um, experiencing them, archiving them, all this sort of stuff, right? And this person feels joy and comfort and coziness, and they could somehow also integrate that skill set or those interests into something that's productive, because uh, they're not generally so absorbed by their interests that they don't want to be considered productive. They probably find their very interest to be something that can be productive, and there might be a frustration in that it can't be integrated into larger society or considered as being productive to certain degrees, like they consider it. But whatever. The point being is, are those people just escaping, right? Are those people because they're concentrated in ideas and concentrated in specific hobbies and interests and types of knowledge and so on and so forth, a preoccupation with certain things? Are they just escaping, like, or are they just going toward that which calls them, right? That which is intuitive to them. So the reason I bring that up is I don't think I think in the case of a lot of people that are on the schizotypal schizo spectrum or whatever, I think they're doing what's intuitive to them, right? I think similarly they have special interests that are often more abstract, but they have they have special interests that like make them feel both comfortable and productive while they're doing it, right? And productive in ways that might not make sense to the outside world, oftentimes, right? Productive in ways that neurotypical society might go, "Oh, that's not productive. That's stupid. That's just a hobby. That's just dumb. You're escaping." And
Yeah.
so that's the dilemma there, right? When is it escapism and when is it just intuitive for that individual? Do I like? And I'll be honest, there are things that I do that are just pure escapism, right? But like here, let's get a little wild, right? In my head, okay, let's go bananas. We're gonna go bananas here. This is where everyone leaves the stream because I sound crazy. Is everyone prepared to just leave the stream because I sound crazy? Is that okay? Is everyone okay with that? All right. Everyone's not saying anything, so I'm gonna take that as okay. Okay, so
Wow, is that?
because of my beliefs and my thoughts on many matters, I find certain types of interests of mine, artistic specifically, to actually be a very productive and valuable aspect of life in a very practical way. Because I'm somebody that, even if it's weird to talk about, but it's more secular in fashion, but I guess I'm somebody that would be considered to some degrees like a sort of spiritualist, right? And so I believe that a lot of these things that I contemplate and partake in, and media that I consume, and conversations that I have, and inquiries that I wander into and discover, and all this sort of stuff, and self questioning and everything else that comes with it, and imagination. Like in my mind, I go, oh, those are all very productive things because, in my belief, ultimately those things will quantify as something that'll be very useful to me when I am dead. So it might be completely irrational by materialist standards. I understand that, and I'm not using that as a pejorative. I get it, because if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, so it doesn't matter. But based on my standards and my thoughts on the matter, like all these things that I'm collecting, all these ideas, all these things that I'm striving toward, these principles that I try to uphold for myself, like all this shit that I'm doing, I consider it to be productive, even if materially it's not very productive. And what would be considered more productive that I would do with my time, right? It would be, instead of getting a history degree, yeah, I should have just gone into engineering, and or some other kind of fucking thing that makes me more money, which in turn gets me more resources, which in turn increases my social status, which in turn is supposed to make me happy, and then I die surrounded by all these people that thought I was cool. I know I'm being a little facetious or whatever, but
Yeah.
that doesn't motivate me, right? I don't consider that to be productive in my mind, right? That's not productive in my mind. That's counterproductive, right? Because then when I'm dead, or when I'm dying in my deathbed, I'm gonna look around me and I'm gonna go, oh, look at all these, look at all this like resources I have, and all these people that consider me high status and love and have affection toward me for these reasons, and I'm considered useful by all of them. Like I'm gonna be laying there regretting my entire life and every part of it, while somebody else might feel really fulfilled, which I respect, because that's what makes them feel fulfilled and that's what they perceive as productive, right? So um so yeah, that's how I perceive it. That's kind of how I think about it. That's how I experience it. And so something like a term like escapism is a little difficult for me, because I have to kind of parse out what is escapism, because I participate in that, and what is me doing things that I consider to be productive for my life and the lives of those I care about. So
I think that I pretty much feel the same. I guess I view it through maybe a little bit of a different lens. So,
I'd like
like,
to hear it.
I mean, I feel like escapism is, I think, the reason why it feels like it's heavily stigmatized, right? Like, I feel like it's stigmatized because,
Like expectations and stuff. I don't know if you cut out or if you.
well, within the capitalist system
Oh yeah.
exist, and like I think if you're escaping, it's almost like the capitalist machine is telling you, don't escape, because then you're not functioning as a cog in the system, right? Like you're kind of um, um idling and not being productive, in air quotes. But then I
You are
feel
not
like
making money.
the machine has also then, like, they've took escapism and kind of turned it into a commodity as well. So it's like, you can escape within the same context of consumption and existing in the, and I think that's really perverse. So it's like, I think, like, it's like, how do you, like, how do we eject ourselves from that mindset, like, and
Yeah.
do it on our own terms, so it, like, suits us. It's not, we just exist outside of that realm of, like, we almost redefine it and, like, repurpose it. And I
Yeah.
think that's what you were saying in, like, the second part of what you were saying. Is like, um, like, if it's useful for us as individuals, then yeah, like, why not? There's no harm in it, really.
Yeah. Do no harm, right? So if you're not doing any harm to the world around you, because that's the thing. Like, okay, when something like this could become problematic is if, like, say I decided, as somebody that has kids and a wife that I care about, like, say I decided, oh, I'm just gonna just fall into pure escapism, or whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to pursue my interests and just abandon everything else. Like that would be, in my opinion, morally unjust in many regards, right? Because even people, because even say somebody like that, to me, that would be the equivalent of becoming entirely hedonistic, right? Seeking pleasure. Even if some of those pleasures, say, are more conventional, whether it's consumption of narcotics or sex or whatever is usually associated to hedonism. I feel like abandoning your, like, any kind of like ideas or principles or ethics they've established for yourself for pure hedonism, regardless of what that encapsulates. I think that is definitely a shit path. And I think that would be closer to, I guess, what would be considered escapism if you fully gave into it in that way. That's just my. I think escapism implies you feel a certain responsibility. I mean, I do feel a certain responsibility, right? And kind of like what Frilled Shark said, a good point. They said there are socially acceptable and not socially acceptable types of escapism. Yeah, but oftentimes those fluctuate, right, on trends, right? Like what's like currently video games is a socially acceptable part of escapism, but 20 years ago it wasn't. 30 years ago it wasn't. It was nerdy and lame and stupid and weird, right? To be doing stuff like that, right? Now you could tell somebody you play Dungeons and Dragons and they go, "Oh yeah, I know celebrities that do that," and so it's okay. But 30 years ago, it was like either you were a loser or you were 40 years ago, more like it. You were a loser or you were, a Satanist or something. So, it's just an apple says, strive to be a good man or woman or woman. How about a good person? Let's do that. Strive to be a good person. That is the goal of our lives. I agree with Hanks that trying to be a good slave of the system isn't quite motivating, but the idea is to be the most virtuous being you can. Yeah, I can't disagree with that entirely. That's why I kind of, in many regards, follow like Aristotelian virtue ethics in my own kind of variation of it. But yeah, moderation is important to me, but also not suppressing some of the more instinctual aspects of the human experience isn't necessarily a good thing either. There's something valuable there too. Um, Something as well pertaining to. Damn it! Somebody said something on here that really I picked up, and now it's gone. Socially acceptable, escapism, dirty social world, away from everyone. Sam. But yeah. That's kind of how I like to perceive it myself. Um, I think there's a moderation to be made, right? Like there's a moderation between dedicating yourself to your own pursuits that you feel are productive and important, and also those pursuits that would be useful to your environment and to those that you have found a care for, right? Because unfortunately, when you care about anyone else, it does require compromise. And if you're unwilling to make those compromises, you're going to be alone. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. But there's some compromises that you make, right? I'm not saying you have to make them because you're forced into it, but you decide. You've decided this is a compromise that I'm willing to make because that person or those people are willing to make similar compromises for me, and then the result of those compromises outweighs, like the benefits of those outweighs emotionally the energy drain or anything else associated to it. It's all moderation, man, in my mind. It's all golden means type shit. One thing you said, Magenta, that I thought was interesting too. I would take it one step further. I know we were talking about cozy shit. Now we're getting to fucking philosophy. Jesus Christ, this always happens. But we'll try to get back to cozy. One way I would take it a step further, Magenta, besides capitalism, right? Because That's a lens, right? I would say, in my mind, it extends far beyond that because say we lived under a different form of whether it be socialists or social democracies or communism or whatever the fuck is. I have my own issues with all that stuff, including capitalism and communism. It's all shit in my book in many ways. But even if, say, that sort of system would be different, it wouldn't necessarily function for a lot of neurodivergent people because they would still be under a very specific umbrella, system wise, that is often not considered, which is kind of neurotypical expectation and want and need, right? What it is that they consider to be important, motivating, captivating about life, exciting, so on and so forth. The frameworks are built around that, regardless of what system you use, because the system itself would be built around those notions, right? So some things might be alleviated, but other things would be exacerbated, regardless of what you change, and especially for the individual, right? So that's how I would take it a step further. There's like something inherent, like not inherently. There's something about what is considered to be human, what it is considered to be human, and what is acceptable about being human and the human experience that that is kind of ingrained uh, in many aspects within many cultures. And that's what's funny is that there could be stuff about the human experience that is prioritized in the mind of your average person that would not be prioritized in the mind of your average neurodivergent person, autistic or schizo or otherwise, and they would be sitting there going, oh wow, it doesn't, like, you could see these themes from culture to culture, right? Like you could see certain types of regardless of the culture, you see certain types of themes of behavior, that this is what we are striving for, this is what's important, this is what's valuable, regardless of what form it takes. And it takes a multitude of forms, but to be the person that says, oh, no incarnation of what you're describing is what I see as valuable to me the way you're describing it, I'm an outlier and all that, then all of a sudden it doesn't matter what system or what culture your upbringing involves, because you can find people that are schizoid in every part of the world, feeling the same alienation and emptiness and loneliness. So, but that's my ramble on that. That's my ramble. It's a little black pilling in many regards. Sorry. Okay, so what else do I got in chat here? I'm gonna be streaming till about 9 o'clock today because I gotta do some other project work related stuff after that. People should want to play more in whatever they want to do. Yeah, absolutely. Emoji, you could just say it. You're on here.
Yeah, but during the time, everyone YouTubers were talking hearty,
It's just
and
yeah, I get it. But yeah, people should play more. Absolutely, I agree. That's why like I see kids like being fucking silly and
like
stupid, and spinning and shit, and I go like, man, I just want to spin and be stupid, and like run through, jump into a pile of leaves and whatever.
exactly, people should just play more and accept that playing should be a natural part of life because it's not even a human thing, it's an animal thing. Animals fucking play, and fucking we should all play. And
Yeah, I agree. Play is important. The only problem is everyone is playing. It's just that to me, I'm not playing the same games they are. So
exactly.
yeah, that's a difficulty when most of the population is playing certain games that you just don't understand the rules to.
Like,
You know.
yeah, people need to understand that it's annoying because when I go outside, I'm in a place and I do something that to someone else seems dangerous. It's like, no, I'm just playing. I'm just playing, bro. I'm just having fun.
I mean, you made the decision that that parkour, whatever you're doing, that's considered dangerous. You've decided I'm playing a very dangerous, physically dangerous game that I think I've developed enough skill to maybe overcome. And you're willing. You know the risks of doing something like parkour. You know you could fucking do the wrong thing and break your fucking neck. But
And it's very. It feels like since it's so niche that like, well, not niche, but like you don't see many people out in the street like doing it from day to day. Like you're much more likely to see someone skateboarding or
yeah.
doing something
All of
like
those
that,
things
or
could lead to death. Like all
yeah,
of those
exactly.
things.
Or
Driving your
it can lead to
car,
like
right,
horrible
back and
deaths.
forth. Driving your car,
Yeah,
riding
I get
a
more
train.
anxiety like driving my car than like fucking
Yeah, you feel like
than
you have
having to
more
like,
control from jumping from a rooftop to another one than you do from driving down a busy street. Like it's
yeah,
just
because like there's so many random people. Oh, I feel so anxious about cars in general because it's like so many fucking like massive automobiles that like so much weight that is just going past every day, going past fleshy bodies that will so like get crumpled if they like pay the slightest little bit of non-attention. Like
no,
like
yeah, I know what you're
seem
saying.
to
Yeah.
not act like that on the road, and it annoys me. And it's like, bro, do you not realize that we're driving like massive vehicles, and that if you like fucking cut someone off or like do something wrong, you could so fuck someone's life up. It, it is
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
tough.
Yep. And what's funny is that like if you're doing something like this is kind of how I like to think about it. Yeah, like you're actually putting there's like it depends on how you prioritize or value what you risk, right, and what you value in those risks, and how you measure that shit in your mind. And oftentimes, like especially for people that are neurodiverse, they're going to have very different understandings of what is risk and reward, right? And and because of that reason, I like you could see something like right, like somebody can go like you could be doing parkour or something like you like to do, and somebody might go, "Oh man, that's so dangerous! You should not do that. You could die. Oh my god, that's so scary. That's so dangerous. You're stupid. Why are you doing that?" Right? And then that would be acceptable, right, by a lot of people. That statement, they would be like, "Yeah, that is dangerous. That is dumb. I would never do that. That's scary." But then you look at them and you go, why do you drive your cars? That's so scary and horrible. You could like, do anything could happen and you like destroy someone else's life or yours or somebody in the cars that you care about or, all this sort of stuff that you can't control could occur. I feel like I can control my body and my movements far more than like all these vehicles that are surrounding me, all these death metal boxes everywhere. And so like, but if you were to say that to them, they'd be like, "Oh, that's paranoid. You're paranoid. That's crazy. You're
Yeah, it's like
paranoid. That's weird."
putting like myself in danger versus putting a bunch of other people's lives in danger, and it's like what? It's very confusing.
No, yeah, and I understand, but it's not just in the case of something like this, but there's a lot of stuff that is confusing like that to
Yeah,
a lot of people.
lots of things like people like just if they're trying to go out, have fun, do something, and like there's obviously different things that are like, oh yeah, probably shouldn't jump off this wharf that has like rocks, like jagged rocks pointing out at the
Yeah,
bottom of it.
yeah. I mean, like that's the thing. When you're doing something like parkour, you're not like looking for risks that are so bad that you're likely going to die. Like you're not going. You're assessing your decision making, right? You're going, oh, I can make this jump, or I can do this, or
And
I can do that.
yeah, and yeah, about yeah, and I love parkour and I love like just all sorts of physical activity. I also love non-physical activity, but physical activity usually is the one that like, especially like dangerous physical activity is the one that like people get the most cut up about because guess because it looks cool, and other people don't want other people learning how to do things that look cool.
Yeah. No, I mean maybe. I don't know if it's a jealousy thing, but because like
Not necessarily, but it's also like it's just annoying because it's like in my head I go, bro, just please let me do my own thing. And but then again, there's heaps of other people who don't give a fuck and think it's like awesome as thing, and
yeah, those are probably more
trained
open-minded
as
individuals, right? When
yeah.
it comes to certain things, right? Because that's an openness thing too. Like, but it just honestly like I think there should be more of a differentiation between people with high openness and low openness as far as the conversation goes, and people that are necessarily like have different ways of thinking. I think like if there's going to be any kind of conversation on how to kind of balance things out, it would probably be between some of that stuff more than say, oh, because like what you choose socially to value and prioritize in your life, in your mind. But more about how open you are to other people doing the same, especially when it's not causing harm to anyone, and especially if the risks that they're taking are just to themselves and not to their environment. And if that person is well versed and has been doing something, like if somebody like okay, this is how I would see it. Like you've been doing your parkour shit for a long time, right? For a while now, and if like say I knew somebody and they're like, I'm doing parkour tomorrow, and they tried to do the shit you were doing, like you've been doing for a while now, I'd be like, you're a fucking idiot, right? Because like you
You're
can't
gonna
just
fucking take it, bro.
you're gonna
Life's slow
die.
to
You're gonna
roll.
you're gonna fucking die. Like and like that's kind of the difference there, right? That's stupid. Uh Practicing, working at it, improving at whatever it is that you value, yeah, that's not stupid. That's valuable and productive in the mind of that individual. So what the fuck? Like I don't, I have trouble with that sort of stuff too, right? Like it's the same thing with any skill, even socially acceptable skills, right? Like what sort of like think about how many things that are socially acceptable in the world that are incredibly fucking dangerous because they're considered to be necessary. Like okay, easy example, right? Like people that do like a lot of the fishing, right? Crabs and fishing, and a lot of the stuff you do out at sea, right? There's so much fucking danger there. There's so much crazy shit that could happen, and yet they're doing it, right? Because it's considered something productive, a resource gathering of some kind, and so on and so forth. And so thus the risk, so socially the risk is worth the reward in the minds of a lot of people. um and I just find that so fucking amusing, right? Like there's so much stuff that I see in the world that I go, oh wow, that's so not fucking worth it. Like that's horrible. Why would you do that to yourself? But society
Is
might
there
be like, oh,
background
it's
noise
not.
coming from my microphone?
What happened?
Is there background noise coming from my microphone?
I don't know. I don't know if it's me or anybody else. I'd like to hear from because I'm not hearing it personally. I'd like to hear from either. Well, let's see here. I saw you jumped on Zen. You got any? I'd like to hear what makes you cozy there, Zen, because I don't know if you like to talk or whatever, but I'm curious to what it is because I know that you you're very much the currently one of the server's math people. You just really like math, and I'm curious how math feels cozy to you.
Wait, someone talking about math.
Yeah, did you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I was because
Can
I
you
go ahead.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Absolutely. No, what I was asked.
It's not very quiet.
No, it sounds fine. Just enunciate as much as you can. But like I know because of you've been hanging out in the server and stuff, and you like your STEM, you like your math. and that's totally cool. But is there something in that world that makes you feel comfortable, less anxious, cozy?
Um, well, it takes up your mind so you don't have any bandwidth to feel anxiety and stuff like that. I know that sounds terrible, and it sounds like math is only good for blocking things out. But if you do it enough, I, I think like repression is, well, it's actually effective, but only if you do it enough. And most people can't do that because they'd have to sacrifice their relationships and everything. So that's why all the mainstream psychologists and
Oh yeah.
therapists recommend against it.
I one thing I would say is just to kind of reconceptualize what you said a little bit, and let's just have a little fun with it. What if the things that other people won't sacrifice, like you said, right? What if those are the things
Yeah.
that make them feel cozy and happy and comfortable? And for you, it's what you're describing, right? Like beyond like, oh, it blocks out the bad thoughts, right? What are the good thoughts that you get from it? What is the good feeling there?
Uh, well, to be honest, the only good feeling I've ever felt is being better than others. And that went away as soon as I got to uni.
Better than others at what?
Just like, and I have to be better than others by a really wide margin. This was before I became schizoid, though.
Oh, interesting. So how what I'm curious. Better than
Yeah,
others, but by whose standard though?
um,
Your own?
yeah, yes. I, I just had this one thing that I was way better at than everyone at, and that by itself was amazing.
Is that because it made you feel like productive or valuable to your environment, or what was it about it?
I never thought about it, but I used to be a megalomaniac, so being better by itself was enough.
Just the act itself.
Yeah, just being better.
Did it make you feel like safer?
Mm,
Would you say?
yeah, and yeah, and satisfying, but it doesn't work anymore.
And you said that changed after uni.
Yeah, after starting to major in math.
Is that because you started finding people that were, like equally as good at say this topic?
Yeah, but if I left, then I'll feel worse because I couldn't face people my own size.
You couldn't face people your own size.
Yeah, if I didn't major in math and chose another major where I could be better than everyone at math.
That would make you feel that much worse.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Mathematics of all things, and this is what I find interesting. And I'm not gonna like I can't
Yeah.
diagnose anybody or any of that shit. But this is what I find interesting. I've talked to a lot of people that are schizoid, that do deal with certain forms of status anxiety, right? And what's interesting about status anxiety among somebody that would be on the schizophrenia spectrum is that oftentimes the status anxiety is more conceptual, right? It's not even about am I better at or higher in status to other individuals based on what society deems to be of value. It's like an internal thing. It's I want to be better at other people at this particular field, this niche field or interest, that's without any real concern for how society interprets that particular field of interest, right? Like being really good at math, right, and being
Yeah.
better at other people at math.
I
There's
think
Go ahead.
it
Sorry.
started out just being the normie status anxiety because I was also like that with music, but that wasn't as useful. So I didn't dive into music that much. But I liked music a lot more than math. So I put it aside anyway for math because the parents and teachers found it way more useful. I was in my early teens, so very gullible.
Do you I'm curious. Where do you well, okay, look, I'm going to ask a question, right? You don't have to answer it.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you would you consider yourself to be covert or overt? Like is your kind of your speech patterns and stuff different outside of say here where it's okay to be just whatever?
Uh, it it is, but not among math people. Like they don't mind if you sound really monotone or anything. Some of my professors sound like this, and
Okay.
that's totally accepted. Mm.
So there's it's a certain environment that's more accepting of uh, socially I guess would be considered more awkward behavior, right? And ways
Yeah,
of speech.
as as long as you have the skills to keep up.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
But beyond the feeling as if you're valuable in some regard or another, um, do you find anything enjoyable about mathematics itself? Anything
Mm.
personally outside of oh, I want to be really good at it?
Yeah, I do now, but you have to learn a lot of math to see enough of it to like it.
Oh, that might be the case. That might be the case for you, or maybe people that would have that same kind of experience.
I'd say everyone,
Oh,
but
yeah, yeah,
K
yeah.
to 12 is really trash, so you have to get to graduate level before you've seen enough real math to say it's not for you.
Oh,
I,
so you're
I
saying that
know it,
there'd be more people enjoying math as a pleasure were they to have such levels of math accessible to them.
yeah, and I know like, it sounds like I'm saying everyone should go to
No, I get what you're
graduate
saying. I get
school
what
in
you're saying.
math.
Yeah.
I actually do think that, and and everyone around me is like, oh, that's impossible because this kind of math is so hard. But I I I know perfectly well that they just have skill issues because then they're not open enough to really be able to swim around in that kind of math
You know what's
properly, but
funny?
they still can get by, so they're still in my classes.
What's interesting is this. So when you're saying this, I resonate with it because just not so much the status thing that you were concerned with. I don't quite connect to that, but as far as like what you refer to as like if only people would climb so high in this particular subject, they would finally see the beauty of it or whatever, or the what makes it amazing and aesthetically pleasing to you. Um, what's interesting about that is that I can relate to that because like okay, for example, I have a high respect for people that are good at mathematics. I am not one of those people at all, but not because math's too hard, right? It's because it's just not interesting to me aesthetically, right? It doesn't like I look at it and I go, oh, I respect that. That's important. And I'm sure if I tried really really hard, I could find some aesthetic pleasure in it. But there's stuff that is more intuitive to me that I find aesthetically pleasing. That's very complex, right? And what's interesting about that is that like that's why I relate to what you're saying in the sense that like I would feel if only people would really delve deeper into philosophical thought of certain types, or if only people delve deeper into human history and what it means and how it's constructed and everything else, they would see these values and those values, and they would find aesthetic beauty in this and that. But because people think that subject is boring and too long-winded and too much words and too much writing and too many things to read, they don't see the beauty and awe that exists
Ooh,
within it.
I'm
Right?
actually one of those people. I
What
I
happened?
always
Yeah,
I'm actually one of those people because I always got terrible grades in humanities, and
yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
I look at the reading, like there's just so much fluff, and it never gets to the point. Like
Yeah,
in
but to somebody that reads it, what you consider the point, and what somebody that understands it in a different way considers the point might like be incredibly different, right? So a lot of this is like an aesthetic thing, right?
I,
So and it's how
you
one.
really like the fluff, um,
Well, it's not
right?
fluff in the mind of the person reading it, right? Like okay, like a poem could be considered nothing but lines of fluff to one person, and a thing of beauty to another.
Hmm.
See,
No,
and
I
and
don't mean poems. I mean like essays about.
oh yeah, I'm sure that no, I agree with you. There's tons of meat, but that's the thing. That there might people that there be people that would argue that even within mathematics, there's plenty of utterly useless shit that doesn't actually have an impact on the practicalities of life, right? In many regards, depending on the conditions. So,
Maybe,
but there's a lot of people that
maybe.
believe that, whether it's true or isn't. But but that's my point. It's like a bias that exists within all of us toward aesthetic beauty or pleasure or whatever it is that we gravitate toward. And I opt for optimizing the efficiency of individuals being able to metacognate and respect these variety of things instead of saying or making statements about one particular field of interest as being above the rest in any capacity.
Hmm.
Because I think that's very short sighted. And not, I don't consider like not in a bad way. It's just I consider it to be short sighted in that there isn't enough. Personally, I don't think there's enough education on the topic of just being able to look at other forms of thinking and experience, and being able to look at it from afar and be able to just sort of wrap your mind around it. Um, and there's not enough of that in the world, and I think that's what causes a lot of fucking harm. But anyway, goddamn, this stopped being cozy. I'm sorry. Uh, shit.
My humanities classes at school just beat all that curiosity about humanities out of me.
Sorry, I got like I'm drifting off into abstract thought as usual. Hinsog, sorry I'm a weirdo, Inks. You have a good thing going. Hinsog, I don't think you're a weirdo, man. You haven't done anything that makes you a weirdo in my book, so you don't have to apologize to me. Math and J, I'm rich. Oh yeah, I'm totally rich. I got $20. That's it. I'm quitting. This channel's over. I did it. Like, you know what? You want to know something funny, guys? Like, if like I know super chats never go that high or whatever, but like if say like finally some fucking person shows up and goes, I am a millionaire or billionaire and your work has helped me, blah, blah, blah. Here's $10 million out of my billions of dollars, right? That I have, that I'm some fucking schizoid billionaire somewhere. If they gave me that, right? The first fucking thought in my mind, like the first selfish thought in my mind is gonna be this. And I'm not fucking around. First selfish thought in my mind is gonna be, okay, cool, I can finally just be left alone. One, that's the most selfish. Uh, to some degree, right? In many regards, so with But then my other thought would be number two, would be, oh, cool, I can dedicate myself to the things that I find productive and valuable in this world without having to worry about spending all my time doing these other things that I consider to be unproductive and stupid in my mind. Um, so that's probably the thought that would go through my head. I wouldn't be thinking about what cool stuff I could buy. I wouldn't be thinking about like what status it brings me. I wouldn't be thinking about like any of that shit. Like that's the last stuff on my mind. Like straight up, I just don't care about that shit at all. Like, and it's funny. It's funny. I just like, oh, all my bills are gonna be paid, so now I can just dedicate myself to reading books I like uh and expanding my, you know, what I guess for some people consider their soul or their self understanding, and grow from there and help others grow in whatever capacity that they're interested in doing if I can help, and so on and so forth. Like that's all that would go through my fucking head. It's so fucking ridiculous. And I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of schizoids out there that would probably feel the same. They would feel the same in a different way. Like I don't think the first thought they would think is like, oh, I get to buy all this cool stuff and have all the status and all these resources that other people are going to they're going to, and social, like just social increases. Like I don't think any of that's the kind of shit that's going to go through their head. It's just going to be something like closer to like whatever they consider to be some abstract form of productive and important, and just being able to dedicate their lives to it, whether whether it's fucking math or Buddhism or writing the next great American novel. Like whatever. Like that's what they would be thinking. I feel like that's the first thing they think. Um, Not the other shit. Like maybe in the case of like no, I can afford therapy. They go right. That's good. Because like Karyotype, when they were on here, they were saying they would want to live a pastoral life. That's probably the first thing they would think. They have $10 million right off the bat. They'd be like, oh, I can start living my pastoral life. Good. I want to grow beets and carrots and milk cows and never do any of these other things that I don't consider productive or valuable, and just immerse myself in this way of being that I consider productive and valuable. Like it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Hey Carp, I haven't talked to you. What's up? Give me 1 sec. Oh shit.
Hey, regarding different forms of self-worth, I found a better way.
Oh yeah, you
to
found the
articulate
ultimate way? Okay, good. Go Carp. What's the
No, I mean,
ultimate
I found the shit I was talking about last stream when I was high on weed and inarticulate as fuck.
Oh, okay.
All the human enhancement stuff, I figured.
Oh, yeah.
So if we're just physical, then the ultimate form of self-worth would be the technical specifications of one's body and what it's capable of. So if I'm just a list of technical specifications, I want to get them as high as possible.
That's what you would think the moment someone gives you $10 million. You would think, oh man, this is one step closer to increasing the specifications.
Well, I could definitely experiment with weird shit, but there's not much you can do for it.
Well, I know, but you'd still. I mean, what would be your first thought? Okay, $10 million lands on your lap. What's your first thought?
Drugs.
Unlimited amounts of them, or what?
Yeah, just fuck around with psychedelics and see what happens.
Is there a child?
Yeah, that's my 2-year-old. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, you want me to fix this? She wants me to fix something. Hold on. Okay, I'll fix it after. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, in the morning. I'll fix it in the morning. Bye bye.
Carl, would you buy an exoskeleton? Would you buy it?
Close
Would
it.
you
Close
get
the
a
door.
super futuristic exoskeleton made
Thank
to
you.
increase your power outputs?
An exoskeleton, hell yeah, that's something I want for sure.
It's so cool, and I
It would
love
be
that.
sick as a
I love that like Carp wants an exoskeleton, and like there was like a tinge of excitement in Carp's voice when talking about like fuck yeah, I want an exoskeleton. That's amazing, right? But what's funny is that I hear that and I go, I don't want that shit at all. I don't want an exoskeleton. What the fuck?
That
Like
would
if
be
you,
so awesome.
I mean,
And being
yeah,
able
for
to,
you and your parkour, for especially, I can imagine. I mean, I wouldn't say no to a cool exoskeleton, but if I were to choose between things that I could do, with a limited amount of resources, exoskeleton is definitely not the first one I spend my time and money on. But respect. That's how I see it,
is
man.
there mad like background noise on my microphone? I feel like there is.
There is a little background noise, but it's not that bad. You're all right. You're all right. It's not that bad. So just like push to talk if you need to. But yeah, that's funny to me. Like, hey, Magenta, what would you do? 10 million, boom, right on your lap. What's your first thought?
Panic?
Panic? Panic's your first thought? Why?
It's a very scary prospect.
Having no longer needing to do things to get by as much?
No, but 10 million is. I wouldn't trust myself with that much.
Oh, okay. Why? What do you think you would do with it? Just frivolously spend it on whatever?
Well, there's lots of things that can go wrong.
Well, all right. Pragmatically, yes. Yes, I get it. There's a lot of shit that can go wrong, but I'll tell you right now, there's a lot more shit that can go wrong in my life without $10 million than with it. I'll tell you that right now. Okay? I don't care what anyone says. So, but as far as with it, aside the panic, what would be your first thought once the panic subsides about your situation? And the reason I'm asking this is because I want to hear what kind of atypical maybe thoughts regarding like, oh, I have $10 million now, might sound like. Just like I can't get past the panic of what I would even do. What if we reduce the amount? Would that make it better?
I would prefer.
Oh, we lost you, Magenta. Oh, there you are. There you are. You would prefer what?
Yeah, I would prefer not to. I don't like the question.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine.
It's just an awful question. It's like the question, like
Yeah.
it's like saying, would you kill a baby or
Is
a
it that
black baby
bad?
or a white baby?
Is it that bad? Like
It's just an uncomfortable hypothetical, and I don't.
the reason I'm asking about it is it's just because I want to know what the first thought is. I don't care about necessarily like what I'm saying. Like I'm just curious what
Yeah.
the relief is. What the relief if if that was out of the way would be. What the relief in the first thought of I can finally have access to do this particular thing a lot easier.
I would prefer. You're putting words in my mouth. My first thought isn't relief; it's panic.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Okay, so it would not be good for you.
No,
All right, no $10 million then for you. Oh man.
but that's very different. Like, I'm not saying if you did offer, or if you did actually offer it. I'm not saying I wouldn't accept it. I'm just saying that I like. That's a different question.
Oh, okay. So I would have to say like, what's your 10th thought or your second, third? Like, what would be the thoughts after all the bad thoughts or the panic thoughts would subside? Would that be a better form of asking that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't.
Maybe someone else can answer that.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, we know Carp wants an exoskeleton. What do you want? What do you want? What's your first thought, Zin? Like after any kind of discomfort subsides from possibly from this, if that causes any discomfort. What's your first thought?
About the 10 million.
Yeah. Somebody's like, oh, they gifted to you. Like an uncle dies and they were rich and they thought you were the
Yeah,
coolest.
I'd start to. What are they called? Those? I think they're called fellowships. I'd start a fellowship for
Mm-hmm.
people who don't have degrees. So if they publish enough math without ever going to uni for some reason, that's who the fellowship is for.
Would that be like the first thing you would go like that? That's what I would dream
Yeah,
about doing with like a lot of
yeah,
resources.
yeah. So it would be a position at a research institute that's only available for people without degrees.
Okay, that's cool. That's something definitely valuable there, right? Interesting. Yeah, see, this is what I find fascinating, right? Like, is like where those thoughts first go, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and how much they differ from individual to individual, but like how conceptual, like how oftentimes very abstract and conceptual it would be in the case of somebody that's yeah, I guess neurodivergent. They're gonna have like a very different opinion of what is valuable and what is important in life. Their answer might not be oh to like it won't be a primarily interpersonal uh, priority that would take place. And I'm not judging them as any lesser, but it's just I see that pattern oftentimes. It would be something very different, very conceptual in many ways. Um, but anyway, I do have to end the stream because like I have something project related, or but not for this project, but networking sort of work related, starting right now like at 9 or so. So, but thank you for everyone joining me. Thank you for honest answers. Hey, if anybody wants to like say, like I love, hey Magenta, I love that you fucking told me my question doesn't work for you. That's the best. Like that's the kind of shit I like to hear. Like for me, that's like useful shit because I like to hear that stuff. Like I like the back and forth. I like opinions that about something that like go against perhaps my own conceptualization of something because then I learn from it. And that's like the most valuable thing to me. So, all right. In any case, thank you for joining me. Thanks everyone that jumped on. Just remember, if you like the stream, if you like what I'm doing, if you like what I'm working on, if you like the server, if you think my face is cool, I don't care. Just Patreon, super useful. Patreon, PayPal if that works. Coffee or Ko-fi if you like that one. Whatever. It all supports me continuing to do this and doing it more. And then on top of that, if you want something in return, there is that group I do with Joanna of Mind Mastery, in which we do a once a week Saturday 12 p.m. PST sort of group meeting thing, and that does cost money, but that kind of helps both our projects, our individual efforts. And I can tell you, Joanna has some noble reasons for their own efforts, at least by my regard. And if you don't like any of that shit, just I have Ethereum and Litecoin, I think, listed on my description. So I'll take crypto if you prefer that avenue. I don't care, whatever works. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for being on. And like, subscribe, do all that bullshit. Not because I find any rush from it, but because it helps the algorithm and it helps all this bullshit that I'm trying to do. So like, subscribe, throw the link everywhere. I don't care where you upload. You can upload my videos to Pornhub. I don't give a shit. Just do whatever you want. I'm not worried about like you using my stream content. You know, my copyrighted stream content. And just fucking use it. Um, put it wherever you want. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. And as usual, before I sign out here, as usual. Oh, that's not what I was trying to do. I always fucking do that. It's so fucking stupid. Anyway, um, as usual, when day is dark, always remember happy day. Now, we want to keep it cozy, so even though the stream didn't quite go that way, so let's do something I find cozy musically. Let's see what do I find cozy? What do I find cozy? I'm trying to think of music that I find cozy that doesn't get me in trouble. Mm, what's cozy? Somebody have a suggestion in chat. Something cozy. No, because then it might give me a fucking. I'm trying to do less copyright um, claim shit because I feel like it's affecting my views and stuff. Let me think. I'm sure I can find something. Let's see. Let's see if I can find something on here. I know a few channels that like don't fucking copyright claim my ass, so that's why I like to use them. What's I feel like when's the stream ending? I don't know. Once I find a song I like, that's when. I like this one. I'll do this one. That's a good one. Hold on. No, 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 over here. Why am I being so picky? Holy shit. Yeah, we'll go with this. Alright, later, guys.